Hello guys, Josh here, and today we're going to take a look at G1 Shockwave. Now normally I touch on the figure's character in my videos, but in this one I wanted to focus mainly on the toy itself and kind of give you guys a little history lesson of the origins of the toy Shockwave. So when this guy first hit Radio Shack shelves, he was released by a company called Toy Box, which is also responsible for giving us figures like Omega Supreme, Trypticon, and Skylynx. So they were kind of responsible for those robots that kind of specialize in electronics, and they made some really good figures as well. But he wasn't known as Shockwave at that time. He was known as Astro Magnum, which was pretty much the same. There are a couple of differences, and I'll point those out a little bit later on. But he was gray here, had silver here at the tip, and then his translucent pieces were red. Then he was later re-released as Galactic Man, which was pretty much the same thing, but had clear translucent pieces. Now, a lot of people know or call both of them Shockwave, and they think that this is a knockoff just because it was sold at Radio Shack. This is not the case. This actually predates Transformers. So it's kind of like a Diaclone. And you see a lot of people on eBay and different sites, they're like, I'm selling my Diaclone Shockwave. Well, that's not the case. Diaclone didn't make Shockwave or Galactic Man or whatever you want to call it. That's like saying that I'm selling a Ford Camaro or a Chevy Mustang. It's not possible. Diaclone, they made a lot of the molds for Transformers or Hasbro Takara. They bought those from them. So you got your, Optimus Prime, your Jazz, Proud, things like that, and Tracks. But they did not make this figure or all of them. Just like you have Jetfire, Skyfire, which was made by a totally different company as well. So kind of give you a little history lesson in that. So this guy is not a knockoff, the Shockwave, and Galactic Man or Shockwave or Astro Magnum, whatever you prefer you want to call him, isn't a knockoff either. It actually predates the Shockwave. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out, there were a few differences between those and this guy. As you can see, the trigger on him, it's kind of flat right here, to where on the, we'll say Shockwave, so it kind of covers both of them. It kind of stuck out, and I'm not going to try to be funny here, but it kind of looked like an extra appendage right there that stuck out between his legs. So you can kind of figure out what I'm saying right there, and I won't come out and say it on my own. It also had a little handle right here to where you could, when you took this off, he had a hole in his hand to where it could actually hold this like it was a shield as well. Now, I'm not really sure if it was both of them, but I know that it was Galactic Man, the one that had the clear translucent pieces, that he could actually hang on to his shield. Another thing that I wanted to point out is there was a difference between this cannon piece. As you can see, that Shockwave has these purple translucent pieces, just kind of matches these ends and the end right here, to where on the other ones it was clear. So that's how you can also tell the difference between, even if you are buying what you know to be a Shockwave and then these translucent pieces are clear, that's not the authentic. And obviously, if you buy a Shockwave, you want them to be 100% complete Shockwave and not part of one or the other. So go ahead and put that back in there. I wanted to cover a couple other things with you guys. Now, one thing that I see on eBay a lot of times is I'll see the reissue or encore Shockwave, and there is no such thing. Hasbro Takara has lost the rights. They no longer have the rights to make this G1 mold again. Now, whether they get those rights again so they can actually make this mold again, time will tell. But as of right now, they don't. So there has never been a reissue or encore, whatever you prefer you want to call it, made for Shockwave. I just kind of want to give you guys a little 360 there. Really nice figure though. I highly suggest getting some form of him. The other thing that I wanted to kind of point out, the easiest way to identify if it is a knockoff is this little translucent piece right here. As you can kind of see through there, the electronics. Now, some of the knockoffs, they will look exactly like this, so you kind of need to trust the buyer or know who the buyer is. Make sure they have a good reputation online. But if this is kind of more of a, not solid like this, but it's hard to see through, more than likely it is a knockoff. Now, there are a couple things that, and I had to write these down because there's so many things that you need to look for if you're wanting to buy this guy. Now, the first thing that I wanted to point out is the trigger. The trigger a lot of times will be broken at some point at one of these ends right here, or back here, or it'll only have this part sometimes. So that's something to pay attention to. The other thing is the rubber hose. Now, as you can kind of see, mine is not in the best condition. I've got several cracks through here. It's kind of broken a piece right here, but it does work, and that's the other thing that you want to make sure. Makes a very annoying noise. You can flip the switch back here. It makes a different noise. Now, here's something that I didn't know much about whenever I bought mine. I wish someone had pointed it out. I have it flipped to the left here. It makes that noise. If you flip it to the other end, it's supposed to make a less annoying noise, I guess you could say. But as you can see, it's the same one. So that is a problem with mine. Now, the other thing you want to make sure is the electronics work, at least work. If they make something, because if they don't, then obviously the value goes down, and that's not something that you want to pay a whole lot of money for. Now, the other thing is the battery cover. Make sure you have that. Now, mine, I didn't get a battery cover with mine. I thought it was something I might be able to pick up for like maybe $5. Went online. If you can find it, it goes anywhere between $30 to $45 for this little bitty square piece of plastic. It's just crazy, outrageous price. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out is this little section back here, just because you can see that it's kind of flimsy. A lot of times this is broken off. Another thing that usually gets broken is these little parts right here. Whenever we get to the transformation, a lot of people, they just kind of try to pull them apart here, and as you can see, there's plastic holding it in. You'll see in a little bit. I'll get a little bit better, closer detail to it, but that's something else that you want to make sure that those parts aren't broken as well. And I think there was one more little thing. Oh yeah, and you want to make sure whenever they take pictures of it that the little cannon's not drooping down or anything like that. Otherwise, it's gonna look stupid. It's just sitting there on your shelf like this. So you want to make sure that these joints are tight right there. So going ahead and get this guy transformed. I know this has been kind of a long video already, so I apologize. But you're going to take this end off right here. Also make sure that there's no cracks or breaks in this section either. And you can just start pulling the arms apart. You can pull that down as well. You can spin this arm around just like so, and then you can spin this around. You want to be very careful with it. As you can see, the hose, I mean, it's very, very delicate, and you can see that his head kind of just popped up there. Another thing to make sure that his ears stay up, as you can see, as mine did. You don't want them just kind of falling down all the time, otherwise it looks stupid. He does have some articulation here in his head. It can rotate. The arms, they can obviously go up and down there. They can't rotate here at the shoulder, but they do rotate here at the elbow, and they can go back and forth. Same on this one as well. And push this down, and then you want to come out with the legs. This has a little notch there and a little hole there, and you'll kind of plug that into place. Sometimes mine doesn't get in there very good. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Now, a lot of people, they'll leave the legs out like this, and they'll try to pull them apart. As you can see, you have plastic there, and you'll see this broken on a lot of the figures. So you just kind of have to, work with it. There we go. There's that leg. Let me get this one over there too. If I can get him to stand there. Alright, and there is Shockwave in all his glory. Now, he does have some die casts here at the feet. You could actually flip those down whenever you wanted to put them in gun mode. But I usually like to leave them sitting on my shelf in gun mode just because I think it's far superior than his robot mode. Just because he's got these long, skinny legs. He also has metal here at the thighs. Just an awesome looking figure. Now, this guy towers above all the rest of your G1s, but there's a couple that it kind of fits in with. So kind of move him to the side here. And if you put him next to Galvatron, he actually kind of fits right in there with him. But if you know anything about the G1s, Galvatron's just really, really tall figure itself. Here he is with one that most people probably have. Here is a G1 Soundwave. And give you guys one more idea. If you collect third-party figures, Here is Fans Project Code or Chrome Dome or whichever you prefer to call him. So as you can see, he kind of towers above him. This guy's pretty much the size of a combiner. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks a lot. I know it was a lot of information to cover, but if you pulled something away from it, either it's the history of the toy, or maybe buying tips on eBay, so you don't kind of get scammed or anything like that. Hopefully I was able to help you guys out, or just give you guys a nice little nostalgia feeling on Shockwave. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, and I'll talk to you later.